Here in Ventura County, we really have remarkable technology in carrying human beings. I was driving down the 101, stuck at the Oxnard turn there, and on the radio, I heard someone talking about a new way of getting rid of mold in homes. As an asthma specialist and pediatric pulmonologist, I really need to treat the source and not just prescribe more drugs for the treatment of asthma. Today we're joined by Dave Hedman from who I heard on the radio. Dave, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
You bet, Chris. About 25 years ago, I founded an environmental company at Stanford University. Actually, the university helped us get our start, providing us office space and talent there, and we specialize in indoor pollution issues, basically remediating indoor pollution. And most recently here in Ventura County, we patented the use of a rather simple concept, which is pasteurizing structures. We elevate the temperature of buildings to pasteurization temperatures. We hold it for a duration necessary to kill a target organism such as fungi or mold or insects, what have you. And we're delighted with this technology. It's a new tool for us in treating indoor pollution because I think what really makes us euphoric about the technology is its non-chemical application, where in the past we have used biocides or pesticides, things of that nature. This is just simply heat.
Well, it sounds like we've got it all. That certainly, we've used it with our patients who have mold as a problem. It's certainly part of the treatment.
Right.
Remediation is a big piece too.
Right.
Could you talk just a little bit about remediation of mold, the kinds of things that a homeowner should be looking for in terms of identifying mold and the kinds of repairs that need to be made before a treatment will stick and stay there?
Yes. The main thing that people should remember is when in dealing with mold or fungi in a home is keep moisture out. And a lot of people may spend a lot of money abating mold, but if they really haven't taken the time to exclude the moisture, the problem will just reoccur in as quickly, in 24 to 72 hours, mold can begin growing again. So that's really the first rule. However, if we've got moisture out of the structure and we're remediating that, in our case, visible mold would typically be removed. I think the reason why Thermapure, the technology using heat, has really taken off is we're able to heat interstitial areas, such as wall cavities between studs or sheathing, which in the past had been torn out. So there'd been a tremendous expense in tearing apart the structure. Now environmental consultants are specifying Thermapure to kill the mold there. But it isn't just killing the mold. At the same time that we're introducing the heat, we're running a tremendous amount of air circulation and filtration. So a big part of it is physical removal as well, trying to remove those spores. We want to kill them and remove them from the structure.
Well, could you kind of walk me through what happens if Thermapure comes out to the house?
Sure. We have a number of ways that we introduce heat to the structure. The key is introducing it in a way which will not damage the structure, because heat can damage things. First, we prep the structure. Things that you wouldn't leave in your car on a summer day, chocolates, pets, what have you, are removed from the structure. Valuable oil paintings, things of that nature. Then we'll typically probe the building. We'll type with remote probes that are tied to a computer. And there may be 100 of these probes that are placed, because the key to this technology is really heating the structure evenly and completely. And so they'll be tied to a computer. Then we'll bring heat into the structure either by using infrared type of heating equipment or hydronic heating equipment, where we're heating water and it will go to a heat exchanger, and then the heat exchanger will convert that to hot air, and then we'll run the water back to a heating source. We may use simple propane. It depends on the structure. But then we'll slowly elevate the temperature of the building to the point where it's lethal for our target. which may be termites. It may be mold. We've applied it for anthrax when the anthrax letters were hitting on the East Coast. We recently completed a large number of buildings in Yosemite National Park for hantavirus. So just a tremendous breadth of applications that the technology can be used for.
What else do you add in there? I know we've talked about some allergens just really aren't going to be destroyed, but you bring in some other technologies too to really help treat the source instead of me having to treat the symptoms with these medications.
That's right. We're just delighted with the results that we're getting from people where a doctor has prescribed this technology, Thermapure, for a patient or an environmental consultant. We're doing a lot of school work now for public schools, and we're finding preliminarily, I need to say, that the heat not only kills the mold, but may be denaturing the antigen. Or there are studies from Great Britain, for example, that show heat will not only kill dust mites, but it will destroy the antigen, which you could define better than I, but is certainly maybe a trigger in the case of dust mites or certain types of mold as triggers for asthma. A doctor may specify for us to go out and heat that mold and kill it and hopefully denature or remove it with the filtration process as much as possible, which is critical. And so we're trying to treat these triggers at the source.
I think that's what I was trying to get to, is the HEPA air purification.
Purification, right.
So you and I have tried to work out something that might be cost effective for some of my patients with asthma.
Right.
In terms of a typical home, let's say we had a home here in Oxnard that sat on the water and had a leak, about what would it cost in terms of remediation, and what are the other methods, and what would their costs be?
Sure. I think that's really the beauty of the technology. Recently we had a family, they just installed a brand new granite kitchen and had all the latest coverings there. There was mold discovered in the interstitial wall cavities. Well, they didn't want to tear all that material out, and the consultant specified Thermapure. So we were able to go in and treat that at a fraction of the cost of mold removal, tearing the structure apart. In the case of insects, we're doing a lot of work where we may have termites or bed bugs or cockroaches in structures. Heat's ovicidal. It doesn't differentiate. It's going to kill the eggs and the adults. And so in that case, we're looking about $1 a square foot. If there's gross remediation that needs to take place while we're doing the heating, of course that would be additional to the heating. Because we don't want visual mold left. The heat will kill mold, but it won't remove it if it's on drywall material. So we want to have that removed. So most often, Thermapure in its application with mold is used in conjunction with gross removal.
Well, meeting with Jack Spangler, we went back
Sure.
to Harvard there and met up with him, and I think my favorite description of indoor building materials is what he calls wood. That really we don't build with wood anymore. We build with all these byproducts, and I think he was able to show pretty quickly that even regular wood in a brand new house was growing mold pretty quickly. Yes. Is this available? Let's say I'm building a house and it rains all over my wood, which nowadays is very expensive. Could a process like this be helpful once the home is built?
It is, on a number of fronts. First, the moisture. Heat, of course, is excellent for drying. Those of us who have hair, we use a hair dryer. We dry our clothes using heat. And so it's an excellent way to cause evaporation in the structure and remove that moisture. And we're concerned about the development of bacteria or fungi in a structure. By removing that moisture, we can prevent that development.